Welcome back, fellow explorers of history. Today, we step into the vibrant heart of early Rome, a city where the rhythms of life were marked not only by labor, family, or the rise and fall of kings, but by the beating pulse of festivals and traditions that bound the community together. These festivals were more than mere celebration. They were civic instruments, spiritual anchors, and expressions of Rome's emerging identity. Through them, the people of the city reaffirmed their connection to the gods, to their ancestors, and to one another, creating a tapestry of rituals and customs that would endure for centuries. Join me now as we journey into the streets, temples, and open spaces of Rome to witness how these festivals and traditions shaped the lives of its citizens during the Kingdom era. In early Rome, life moved in cycles. Days and nights followed the sun and the seasons, and festivals punctuated the calendar like sacred milestones. Unlike today's holidays, these were not merely days of rest or recreation. They were solemn, civic, and deeply meaningful occasions that required participation, attention, and reverence. Every citizen, from the king to the humblest farmer, had a role in the rituals, and every act within the festival reflected the city's values, its understanding of the cosmos, and its social hierarchy. The rhythm of Rome's festivals was inseparable from its identity, embedding spirituality into the very fabric of daily life. Perhaps the most famous of these early festivals was the Lupercalia, celebrated on the 15th of February. According to tradition, the festival commemorated the she-wolf that nurtured Romulus and Remus, the city's legendary founders. But Lupercalia was not just a mythic remembrance. It was a ritual of purification, fertility, and protection. On this day, priests known as Luperci performed ceremonies at the Lupercal cave on the Palatine Hill, near the site where the twins were said to have been suckled. They sacrificed goats, anointed themselves with blood, and then ran through the streets striking women with strips of goat hide. Though the acts may seem strange to modern eyes, they were rich with symbolic meaning. Women believed these strikes would ensure fertility, ease childbirth, and bless their households. The festival reinforced connections between the divine and the human, linking the past, Romulus and Remus, to the present, and ensuring the prosperity of the community. Archaeological evidence from the Palatine and surrounding hills suggests that this area was indeed considered sacred, and early altars and shrines point to a long history of ritual observance at the site. Another key tradition was the Regifugium, or Flight of the King, held on the 24th of February. This festival symbolized the expulsion of the last Roman king, Tarquinius Superbus, and the establishment of the Republic, though its origins lie deeper in ritualized expressions of authority and its limits. On this day, the king, representing the sacred and political authority of Rome, would ceremonially depart the city, chased by citizens wielding rods or sticks. The ritual dramatized the tension between monarchy and the people, authority and communal oversight, and celebrated the balance of power that Rome sought to maintain. The Regifugium was as much about political identity as it was about religious observance. It reminded citizens that even rulers were accountable to divine law and the social contract of the city. Through ceremonies like this, festivals reinforced moral lessons, taught collective responsibility, and created a shared cultural memory that extended across generations. The Vestalia, dedicated to Vesta, goddess of the hearth, was another cornerstone of Rome's spiritual calendar. Celebrated in June, this festival honored the sacred fire that burned in her temple and the domestic hearths of all households. Vesta's priests, the Vestal Virgins, played a central role in maintaining the city's spiritual well-being. During Vestalia, the temple doors were opened to women, who brought offerings of food, flowers, and prayers to ensure the goddess's favor over their homes. The Vestalia highlighted the intimate connection between domestic life and civic religion, illustrating how personal devotion and public ritual were intertwined. Women, often the unsung participants in Rome's political and religious life, found a vital voice through these celebrations, reinforcing their role in maintaining family, morality, and spiritual order. Beyond these well-documented festivals, Early Rome's calendar was punctuated with numerous seasonal rituals tied to agriculture and the natural world. The planting and harvest cycles dictated celebrations, offerings, and sacrifices to gods and spirits who were believed to influence fertility, weather, and abundance. Farmers brought the first fruits to the temples, seeking protection for their crops and livestock. Sacrificial rites often involved the communal slaughter of animals, whose blood and entrails were interpreted by priests to discern the god's will. The symbolism of these rituals was layered. They expressed gratitude, reinforced social hierarchy, and reminded participants that survival depended not only on human labor, but on alignment with divine order. Participation in festivals was universal. Citizens, soldiers, artisans, and nobles all engaged in ceremonies, processions, and games, albeit according to their social rank. Kings presided over rituals, offering sacrifices, declaring dates, and ensuring that divine favor was properly invoked. Priests interpreted omens and guided public worship, while the people brought offerings, sang hymns, and enacted traditional dances or theatrical performances. Festivals also included feasting, music, and communal gatherings, which strengthened social bonds and provided an opportunity for political messaging. The combination of sacred observance and social interaction ensured that the city's values, beliefs, and cohesion were transmitted effectively across generations. Temples, altars, and public spaces played a vital role in these traditions. Archaeology has uncovered early sacred sites on the Capitoline and Palatine Hills, including altars, votive offerings, and ritual implements. These discoveries confirm textual accounts of ceremonies and indicate that religious observance was both public and highly structured. Processional routes, often linking key temples and shrines, allowed citizens to physically engage with the sacred landscape, moving through the city in a choreography that mirrored cosmic order. Through these pathways, festivals transformed urban space into a theater of devotion, linking mythology, civic identity, and everyday experience. Early Roman festivals were not static. They evolved over time, absorbing customs from conquered peoples, neighboring cities, and previous generations. Yet the core of the kingdom-era celebrations remained consistent, a focus on divine favor, social cohesion, moral instruction, and connection to Rome's mythical origins. Myths of Romulus, Remus, and the divine ancestry of the city were dramatized through ritual, reminding citizens of their shared past and collective responsibility. In this way, festivals were living narratives, teaching history, morality, and piety simultaneously. Even in private households, festival observance left its mark. Families recreated aspects of public ceremonies at home, offering food and wine to their lares and penates, lighting hearth fires in honor of Vesta, and recounting stories of the city's legendary founders. Children learned the importance of these traditions through participation and observation, absorbing lessons in civic duty, familial responsibility, and religious practice. The boundaries between public and private, sacred and mundane, were fluid, and each festival strengthened the moral and spiritual fabric of Roman society. Music, dance, and theatrical performance were integral to many celebrations. Ritual chants invoked the gods, while drums and horns marked processions through the streets. Dancers and performers reenacted episodes from myth, turning history and legend into vivid spectacles that engaged all senses. Citizens were both spectators and participants, and through repetition across generations, these performances became deeply ingrained cultural practices. They were not entertainment in a modern sense. They were living lessons in history, morality, and piety, binding the community together and linking the present to Rome's storied past. Sacrifices were another key feature, often involving symbolic acts that reinforced the relationship between mortals and gods. Livestock, grains, and wine were offered, and priests interpreted omens to determine divine favor or warning. These rituals created a sense of accountability. The city's success or misfortune was seen as contingent on proper observance, ethical conduct, and attention to ritual detail. Through these practices, religion and tradition became instruments of governance as much as spiritual life, embedding moral and civic norms in ceremonial form. Festivals also served as a mirror for social hierarchy and civic authority. Kings and nobles demonstrated their power through leading ceremonies, while priests acted as intermediaries with the divine. The participation of ordinary citizens, however, was essential. Their involvement legitimized rulers, confirmed social norms, and reinforced collective identity. In this way, early Roman festivals were both religious observance and political theater, shaping the city's culture, ethics, and civic cohesion simultaneously. Over time, these traditions created a calendar of sacred and civic life that structured every aspect of Roman existence. Citizens anticipated each festival, prepared offerings, and rehearsed rituals, making the rhythm of the city predictable yet rich with meaning. The repetition of ceremonies reinforced the collective memory, taught values, and ensured continuity across generations. Rome's identity, therefore, was as much a product of its festivals and traditions as it was of its laws, wars, or kings. The festivals of early Rome reveal a civilization deeply conscious of its origins, its responsibilities, and its place in the cosmos. They tell us that Rome was a city where every action had spiritual significance, every family was linked to divine guardians, and every citizen participated in a communal narrative that extended from mythic founding to daily life. Through ceremonies, sacrifices, feasts, and performances, early Romans cultivated a sense of unity, morality, and destiny that would guide the city through its earliest trials and triumphs. As we reflect on the kingdom era, it becomes clear that festivals were far more than mere celebration. They were the lifeblood of Roman civic and spiritual identity, binding people together, transmitting values, and linking the city to its mythical and divine foundations. Through these traditions, Rome learned to honor its past, regulate its present, and imagine its future. The streets, temples, and hearths of early Rome came alive during these occasions, creating a society in which religion, myth, and civic responsibility were inseparable. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the festivals and traditions of early Rome. If you enjoyed exploring the ceremonies, rituals, and cultural fabric that bound the city together, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. In our next video, we will delve into the story of Rome's early neighbors, Greeks, Latins, and Sabines, uncovering how interactions with neighboring peoples shaped the development, culture, and identity of early Rome. Until then, keep exploring, because history is alive in every festival, every ritual, and every story waiting to be told.